It's a good thing. And thank you everyone for being here today. Because the booze will be the final convincer. He used to tell me that, you know. I get just think, hearing that stuff, I'm able to identify with a lot of stuff. I remember two drunk drivers back to back in Jamaica Plain. I don't know why I'd hang up in there, man. I've been in all the bars down there, and I got a drunk driving on the Jamaica Way. I don't like driving the thing sober. I don't know if you guys drive that Jamaica Way, man, but you're either gonna end up into the pond, hit a wall, or head on crash. There ain't a lot of choices for you on that street, man. Yeah, I picked up a case there. I remember I picked up a case and I love the bars in Jamaica Plain because they kept kicking me out, but the bars are very close. I could just walk across the street. They told me how to Costello's, I go to Galway, Triple D's, up and down the street. And then I'm driving home, and I don't know if you ever know Jamaica Plain, but they had them trolley tracks, you know. And I used to try to keep my 75 Granada. When I try to keep my Granada on the tracks, I thought I was Freddie Flintstone or something else. I think I was yelling yabba dabba doo and the cops would grab me. You know what I mean? They didn't think it was funny, but as a drunk driver here and then a drunk driving on the Jamaica Way. And like I said, you think about this stuff, look, he ain't dead. You know, and then I also had a fight with a bunch of cab drivers at the time, so not like drunk driving, but I saw them battering about 5 cab drivers who, I guess, well, you gotta do it, you gotta do it all the way, right? So, yeah, and also I worked in the post office for years, and they paid you every 2 weeks on a Friday, and expected you to show up to work on Saturday morning. And they didn't care, you know. So yeah, I had little problems with that, but I'm glad I showed, and I'm glad Bo gave me a call, you know, get another meeting, because you know, the holidays be a tough time. And they used to talk about it, and I saw you the Bermuda Triangle, they call it. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, we lose a lot of drunks. I was sober for years, and I have little buddies of mine used to get mad if I ain't drinking. What do you mean you ain't drinking, Ken? Look, man, get out of here, you know, the constant vigilance. And it's important for me anyway. He used to say, always leave yourself an out. So even today I talk, I know where these exits are. You know, especially with these nuts walking in with grease guns and shit. They don't play favors, man. They get everybody. They ain't gonna get Kenny. Always give yourself an out, you know what I mean? My sponsor said, Kenny, fools rush in, man. Fools rush in. You know, no more, you know, set them up. No. I gotta go, man. I gotta go move my car and get myself. And right now, today, you know, having a plan, you know, to get along with family and things like that. Even if it's all over the table, it's like, no, look, man, I can't do it, man. I gotta go move my car. You know, because we learn in here to drink is to die. Drink is to die. You know, we keep drinking, we end up in 1 of 3 places: a penal institution, a mental institution, or a place. So this thing is very serious, you know. That's why it's, hey, I like them t-shirts they come out with, blessed. Blessed. I mean, you might be lucky behind that one-arm bandage, you hit ding, 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 that's lucky, man. You're blessed when you're walking down the street and you're gonna get hit with a Mack truck and your buddy pushes you out the way, man, that's blessed. You know, we save lives in here. This is a good thing that we got, you know? And I know today, you know, I'm a little messed up. You guys know there's some of the shit I've been through, you know? Remember when I used to come here with my old lady Robin? Have you seen her? You seen her with both in trouble, man. She's dead, you know? I still got her little stuffed animals around the house, man. But I remember my sponsor coming around for a while, and I boxed for a long time. And the guy we used to call him sparring partners, but they just other boxers, and he died, man. He picked up, he relapsed, he got stabbed and killed in Lynn, drug dealer and a woman, pretty bad combination. And I was all messed up, but now I would have been drunk already. And they would have helped, if the guys that knew, they would have told him, Kenny, your money's no good here, they'd have put on, he goes, no. I got a sponsor and I called him. I said, I feel bad for my buddy, Berta's dead. He says, no you don't. You feel bad for you. Because as drunk as you get tonight, he's still gonna be dead tomorrow. I had a habit like that. I had a habit, that's why here I am. You know? I'm at meeting, oh, so what is the holidays? I got no, you know, I mean, hey, I'm here. Or give me a call, you know? Down here, see here, and like I say, one day without one drink, and it is a holiday, but I still have to look at it as, you know, just another day. Because like I say, Donnie that was sit over here that died last year, helped a lot of drunks. It's a gratitude and self-pity cannot coexist. Go tell it to the drunks. You know, there's guys out there right now drunk, and I'm sure they ain't getting invited to thing. But we got here. We got a place to come, a chance to be seen. And, I remember coming out of the joint once, and there's two types of drunks in here, men and women. And they're different, but sometimes the women see things a little different than us, you know what I mean? Might say something, oh, break his jaw, Kenny. I know one might say Kenny, you know, but I had a parole officer out here named Barbara, a woman, and I parked. And she'd say to us, she'd say, you know, when I look at you guys, I know the two things most lacking and most needed in this world today is love and hope. Because with love, the present is always bearable, and with hope, the future is bright. So, thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Great having you, man.
Yeah.
Martin, please.
Martin Alcoholic.
Martin.
I want to thank Joe for opening up the door and on the coffee pot. I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not a hopeless alcoholic, because I can come here. You know, my disease doesn't know that this is Thanksgiving. It doesn't recognize holidays, and I don't get to take the day off. So I keep coming here, and you know, I claim my seat. You know, all the things I hear the rest of the year apply today. You know, this is the training ground for sobriety. I gotta keep my head where my feet are and stay sober today. If I don't pick up that first drink, I don't get drunk, and it's that simple. You know, so all the lessons I learned, think the first drink through, think your behavior through, think your reactions through. You know, don't take the bait. You don't have to go to every argument you're invited to. The things you hear repeatedly, that comes into play today. You know, I got another thing I do. I run, so I'll be going to a guy's house, a runner's house, and they're like family. But I was there last year, and some of the ladies were drinking wine. And I'm an alcoholic, but I've never had a taste of wine in my life. I looked at wine like grape juice. You know, I didn't see any alcohol in it, but that's crazy. You know, that's like drinking near beer. So, you know, I gotta keep coming, all that stuff I said. You know, the first step, you know, I have to accept that I'm an alcoholic, but the other steps behind it teach me how to live. There's a meeting hall up in Marblehead, where they don't have them on window shades, they have it in wood. In the 12 step, the first step's where the 12 steps is. So they do them in reverse. They climb up the ladder. When a drunk comes in and his head's down, he sees that first step first, and he goes up to the 12, and that's how they set it up. But you know, I have to keep coming here, or I got nothing outside. Mm-hmm. My life depends on this. This is the center of my recovery, and I keep coming here. The third step's the important step. You know, I have a God. You know, there's this guy Parkhurst. He came up with all this higher power. And, you know, in the chapter, the agnostics, Bill Wilson does everything he can to prepare us for that third step. You know, he uses all these words like supreme being and all this stuff, just to make that door wide enough for the alcoholic to get his thick head through. But for me, it's a higher power. It's a God, you know. And I don't understand it, but the book says your own concept of God will work. And that's what works for me. I don't know who put the sun in the skies, but I had nothing to do with it. So, you know, I just keep coming in here, keep my head where my feet are, don't get ahead of myself. You know, and what we talk about in here is the bondage of self, that crazy stuff that goes on out in our heads. And when we get drunk, that shuts out that voice that's going on in our heads. And we like that feeling, you know, but then we have to get dried out again, and then the voice keeps coming back. The trick is how to stay away from that first drink and deal with that crazy bondage of self. You know, Bill Wilson talked about it. He talked about it in the book Living Sober, about being a dry drunk and all that stuff. 17 years sober, he did LSD with 2 shrinks. And he said he did it for the future of alcoholics. He said that this program, the 12 steps, can't always help anyone. You have to seek some outside help sometimes. But, you know, this is where it is for me. This is the training ground for sobriety. And today's the day I'm going to work it. Today's the day that I'm going to practice what I've been taught. Thanks for your share.
Thanks, Marty. Thank you.
So getting back to me a second here, you know, you guys hear my story here, but like for a long time I was a suit and tie guy. I was in the boardroom. I was dealing with judges, lawyers, doctors every day. I had to hold myself back from what I actually am. When I'm in here, I can let the little bit of hair I have down, you know, and this is where I should be, because it was all phony when I was doing all that baloney all the time, because I'd be going out with my credit cards and so, you know, or the company credit cards, buying drinks, buying lines for doctors and lawyers and judges. They thought I was wonderful, you know. You guys know who I really am, because I tell it how it is. I was out with a couple last winter. Guy's the president of this huge union from Canada to the Virgin Islands. His wife's filthy rich. One kid's on in New York making killer money. The other kid's doing federal time. So I said, when is she getting out? She said, I was talking to the wife, the guy's, you know, he's a madman, you know, I was like I said, the wife said, she's probably gonna get out in like 2 years, she has to do X amount of time. She gets out, she's living on Huntington Ave in a halfway house now, or a pre-release type thing. And she goes, I really don't expect her to be out more than like 2 months before she goes back. Because she's got the disease. She's got the disease. She has nothing but a disease. You know, all the money in the world, until you come to a place and find your people that you can relate to or listen to. You gotta come. You just gotta keep on coming. That door is always open. A lot of times, as they say, it doesn't open, doesn't swing both ways for some people. Joe said half pint there. You know, I mean, I was one of those guys who would drink, but, you know, looking back at it, I think I was drunk out of beer. Maybe 2, but, you know, like, but I wouldn't stop. And because of my peers here and every other meeting I go to, I don't want to go back out there. I have one of the best sponsors in the world right now, you know. Taught me about, trying to teach me about the God thing, and it's like really helpful, like tremendously helpful. My life's changed so much from coming through these doors, and not so much my life. The people in my life has changed. I've changed their lives as far as what they want me to do. You know, I was always invited, but they couldn't wait till I left. You know, but I wouldn't leave. You know, who's up next?
Ed, I'm an alcoholic.
Ed.
So right at this moment, I'm grateful for the fact that I made the trip up from Philadelphia last night, got here safe, and I'm even more grateful that I found this meeting on the app, and somehow God led me to this building, and I got to meet all of you fine folks today. So I'm grateful for that in the moment. As far as my recovery, this time around, I'm still relatively early, but I have almost 4 months right now. But one difference in this as opposed to past times of sobriety is I view this disease, like, for me, I've realized that drinking is not the cause of this disease, it's a symptom. It's a mental disease that we struggle with. And I mean, I really embraced step 3 this time around. And the part that I really embrace is not the idea of, like, yes, we turn our will and our lives over. We don't say our will and our lives over to God, it's to the care of God. And I realize that there's a God or a higher power, whatever that is for each of us, that not only is all powerful, but cares for us. And as I look back in, you know, when I was out there, like, I used to get angry at certain things that happened. I would blame it on God. And, you know, if I was still out there right now, my daughter, as I told some of you, I'm up here right now because she's recovering from anorexia. And I'm visiting her for the holiday. In the past, I would have been like, God, why are you doing this to her? But now I'm like, God, thank you, she's in a facility here receiving top-notch care. You know, and just one last story I'll share that really, now that I'm sober, I think back to this. My daughters I have twin daughters, they're 16, so this must have been 18, 19 years ago. My wife and I were struggling to have children. My wife conceived and then miscarried. I still remember to this day, we found out, well, we were on our way to a Philadelphia Eagles preseason game. And it was my birthday, and we found out, and I said, I'm going to go. I said, let's go. I said, okay. So we go, and once you know, there was a pregnant woman sitting 2 rows in front of us. But long story short, we got home, I put my wife to bed, and what did I do? I went to the basement and got shit-faced. And as I look back, all these years later, I have 3 beautiful kids now. I wonder what happened to that child, but I realized, God, that was probably God's way of saying, you're not ready to be a dad yet. If I were ready to be a dad, I would have been there supporting my wife, and even when she fell asleep, lay down next to her, you know, and be grieved rather than drinking my troubles away. And I'm just grateful now that, you know, I can be present here for my daughter, where when my wife is with our other 2 children visiting her parents who live north of Pittsburgh, we live in Philadelphia. So we're all kind of spread out, and I'm just grateful that, you know, I'm sober enough and clear-headed enough to be the husband and father that I need to be for my family. So that's all I got. And thank you for inviting me here today. I appreciate it.
Keep coming.
Are we doing a break?
Yeah.
How come you have to?
Oh, yeah, no, we're taking a break.
No break?
No break. We can go quick break. Oh, we're gonna go to 12:30?
Yeah, and then people have to leave at 12:30.
Okay, all right.